Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm pleased to present to you today an overview of the key trends shaping the healthcare sector and explain why the Melville Douglas Global Equity Fund has an overweight position in this dynamic industry. We view the healthcare sector as an important component of our investment strategy as it aligns with our overarching goal of delivering long-term sustainable returns for our clients. The fund's overweight position in healthcare relative to the All-Country World Index is largely premised on the defensiveness it provides. Healthcare is a necessity. Irrespective of the economic environment, people will always need medical care, medication, and health services. And because of that, the sector has a low correlation to macroeconomic conditions. This means that demand is consistent, which makes the sector relatively recession-proof and stable. Healthcare companies can therefore continue to grow and provide steady revenue and earning streams even during economic downturns. The sector provides strong secular growth drivers. The global population is aging. The chart display shows that people aged 65 years and older accounted for almost 10% of the world's population in 2023. With declining birth rates and falling mortality, the senior population has been growing at an accelerating rate. According to the United Nations, this cohort is expected to represent 16% by 2050. And as people's lifestyles become more sedentary and their diets worsen, the incidence of chronic diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and cancer is expected to rise too. This creates a consistent demand for existing treatments ranging from drugs to medical devices and drives the need for the development of new treatments, supporting growth for healthcare companies as they help alleviate the disease burden for the end consumer. The sector is also a hub of innovation. Companies that are continuously investing in research and developing new products and services can potentially meet unmet medical needs, address emerging health issues, and improve existing treatments, all of which further supports long-term growth. And as these companies leverage AI in their businesses, this could provide significant opportunities for long-term growth. It fits in closely with our style of investing in quality growth companies that have long-term tailwinds. Healthcare often grows at a faster rate than GDP, a trend that makes the sector an attractive area for investment. It provides opportunities for consistent, above-average growth through its inelastic demand, demographic changes, and continuous innovation. Companies that capture these long-term enduring trends and reinvest into their businesses often compound their growth over time, which is similar to Warren Buffett's snowball effect. The role of healthcare in the fund also assists us in creating a balanced portfolio. Its defensive nature offsets the cyclical and volatile nature of other sectors like technology, financials, and industrials. This allows us to balance risk while still capitalizing on growth and creating a resilient investment strategy. And lastly, a key advantage of the Global Equity Fund's healthcare exposure is the diversification it provides. The sector is composed of a wide range of subsectors, which allows us to gain exposure and spread risks strategically, depending on the industry trends and the attractiveness of the various subsectors. Within the fund, we have indirect exposure to pharmaceuticals and biotechnology, which uses living organisms to create drugs, through our exposure to ICON. This company performs clinical drug trials on behalf of biopharma companies and helps bring drugs to market faster and in a more cost-effective way. What's attractive about this company is that they earn revenue from drug trials irrespective of whether the drugs eventually make it to market. And because drug trials can last many years, the revenue that ICON earns recurs over this lengthy period. Another company which strategically allows us to gain exposure to the biopharma industry without the risk of being directly affected by the success or failure of a single biopharma company is Thermo Fisher Scientific. This company is a picks and shovel play because it provides scientists with mission-critical tools used in the research and development of drugs, early detection of diseases, as well as the understanding of it. It's a one-stop shop for everything needed in a lab, and can be likened to the Amazon in the life sciences and tools sector. We also have medical device exposure through Boston Scientific, which sells innovative products like pacemakers, stents, and other groundbreaking devices that provide an alternate to invasive surgeries and medical procedures. Innovation in medical technology, like robotic surgery systems and continuous glucose monitors, which helps people manage diabetes more effectively, can effectively improve patient outcomes. And lastly, we have United Health and Elevance, which are the largest companies in the US that provide and administer health insurance and healthcare services to individuals. US healthcare is unique amongst the G7 countries in that it does not have a government health service that is available to the entire population, regardless of age and income. To access its leading-edge healthcare, most of the US population is required to sign up to private insurance or government health insurance programs. What we find attractive about the managed care sector is that it plays a pivotal role in lowering US healthcare spending. A big part of the growth for the likes of United Health and Elevance comes from managing more healthcare spending for the government, which ultimately helps control healthcare costs. United Health and Elevance are also focused on reducing healthcare costs by providing quality healthcare services at a lower cost, which is also known as value-based care. This is important as US healthcare expenditure is 17% of GDP, which remains substantially higher compared to peer countries, and the concern lies in costs rising further to an unsustainable proportion of GDP. Unlike pharma companies, these companies are not subject to patent cliffs and the ongoing pressure to innovate, which results in a more consistent profit-generating business model. I thought I'd showcase Boston Scientific, which is a key holding in the Global Equity Fund and one of the best-performing healthcare stocks in the fund year to date. As a global medical device manufacturer, it's also a leader in most of the categories it operates in. This ranges across multiple specialties like cardiology, urology, chronic pain, and neurological conditions. We remain constructive on Boston Scientific over the long term as it continues to benefit from global procedure growth as well as a shift towards procedures done in outpatient settings. We think that growth for this business will continue because of continuous new product launches like Watchmen and Fetus, a structural shift towards higher growth markets, accretive mergers and acquisitions, and as it enters new markets. Watchmen and Fetus are two significant products from Boston Scientific that focus on treating conditions related to the heart. Watchmen, which is the top picture, is a small device that's implanted in the heart and helps prevent blood clots and strokes in people with a heart condition called atrial fibrillation. An alternative to this is blood thinners, but some people are not able to use this because of its side effects, so Watchmen is a much safer option. Fetus, which is the bottom picture, treats another effect of atrial fibrillation. It sends small electric pulses to the heart to stop abnormal heartbeats. Both Watchmen and Fetus are key growth opportunities for Boston Scientific because of the increasing prevalence of atrial fibrillation. The expanding market, along with endorsements from leading cardiologists and potential for global adoption, positions Boston Scientific for continued growth and leadership in the cardiovascular device market. Looking at key themes in healthcare, you'll see that scientific advancements are transforming the sector in many ways. There are a few themes which we think will continue to shape and impact the sector over the medium to long term. From drug discovery, biologic drugs, robotic surgeries, to improving healthcare access, the continuous innovation positions the sector for growth by creating new revenue streams and potentially reducing costs through implementing more efficient ways of operating. A key theme which we remain excited about is biologics. These are drugs made from living organisms. Their structures are quite complex compared to small chemical drugs, but the benefit of these drugs is that they can be designed to specifically target diseases, making them more precise as treatments. Biologics are effective in treating chronic and complex diseases like cancer, autoimmune disorders, and rare genetic conditions. They also play a key role in developing personalized medicines where treatments are tailored to the individual's characteristics of each patient. The biologics market is growing quite strongly and is outpacing the growth of traditional chemical drugs. The proportion of biologics is gaining more importance and is expected to grow by 10% annually from 2024 to 2030, according to Grandview Research. As a result of this, it's expected to be valued slightly below half of the pharma market by the end of the decade. This growth is partly driven by the increase in patent approvals for biologics, growth in biosimilars, which are generic versions of biologics, and cell and gene therapies. Cell therapy involves using whole cells to repair or replace damaged tissue. So, for example, a patient with damaged bone marrow from leukemia can receive a transplant of healthy stem cells from a donor, and these stem cells will generate new, healthy blood cells. Gene therapy, on the other hand, aims to correct or modify specific genes to treat diseases at their genetic root. So a person with genetic lung disorder like cystic fibrosis can receive a treatment that delivers a healthy version of the defective gene into their lung cells, allowing those cells to function normally. Cell and gene therapy is still a nascent market, which was valued at around $8.7 billion in 2023, and is expected to continue to grow just under 20% annually to 2030. So how are we capturing this theme in our fund? In the Global Equity Fund, Thermo Fisher Scientific provides this exposure by providing the essential products and services needed for creating and testing all drug types, including biologics. They offer materials for growing cells, equipment that makes production easier, and systems to purify the drugs. They also provide high-tech instruments to check the quality of these drugs. And to close the loop, Thermo Fisher Scientific also provides solutions to produce, store, and transport biologic drugs safely and effectively. In the Global Equity Impact Fund, we recently bought a European company called Sartorius Stedim Biotech, which is purely focused on the production and purification of biologic drugs. It supplies disposable equipment and consumables needed for the production of biologics. In addition to the growth outlook for biologics, what makes these companies appealing is that the biologic drug manufacturing process and products used in it need to be verified by health authorities. Once this is done, it's quite difficult to change, and so the same process and products need to be used over the patent life of the biologic drug. This ultimately benefits Thermo Fisher Scientific and Sartorius Stedim Biotech by creating a very sticky revenue stream until the drug comes off patent. If we look at the role of artificial intelligence in healthcare, it's fundamentally changing the way we approach the industry. And the benefits are significant, particularly with the US healthcare system that's burdened by rising costs and labor shortages. AI is making healthcare more efficient, effective, and patient-centered by being able to digest large amounts of data to improve the speed and accuracy of healthcare processes. With the discovery of drugs, even with tech advancements, developing new drugs still takes between 10 to 15 years to develop, and in reality, only 1 in 10 drugs make it to market. With AI, there's an opportunity to use data and AI models to cut time and costs, as well as improve the likelihood of success in bringing drugs to market. AI can basically analyze large sets of data to identify potential drugs and predict their behavior and effects, which would lead to a wider variety of drugs available to treat diseases. In the Global Equity Fund, ICON is using AI to develop better clinical trials and process large amounts of clinical data to gain better insights in the drug development process. They also focus on using robotics and automation, which to date has significantly reduced costs for their business. In diagnosis, there's a huge opportunity. AI can precisely analyze medical scans like X-rays, CT scans, and MRIs, and spot patterns and anomalies that may not be visible to the human eye. With earlier detection of diseases and improved diagnosis of patients, doctors will be able to intervene and treat patients sooner and potentially prevent more severe complications from occurring. AI can also analyze trends in scans over time. flagging even slight changes that could indicate that a patient's condition is worsening. And this can lead to faster recovery times and shorter hospital stays, which could reduce healthcare costs. AI can also enable personalized treatments, which are tailored to patients' unique needs. This allows for more precise and effective intervention as it caters specifically to a person's health profile by analyzing a person's lifestyle, medical history, and genetic information. AI is transforming the study of genes by making the analysis of genetic information faster, more accurate, and insightful. It helps by quickly reading and interpreting DNA sequences to identify patterns and important genetic variations that might be linked to diseases. It can also predict an individual's risk of developing certain conditions based on their genetic makeup, which would enable earlier medical intervention. By incorporating AI into surgical robots, AI can assist surgeons in performing complex procedures with much more precision and control, which is very important with delicate surgeries. Robotic surgery essentially minimizes the invasiveness of procedures and reduces recovery times, making it overall safer and more effective than manual surgeries. Within our fund, Boston Scientific is using AI across its medical devices, and given the technical nature of its products, they have an AI-based marketing platform that provides personalized education for their customers. And lastly, with IT, I think we've all been in doctors' offices and hospitals and seen the endless paperwork involved. Many healthcare workers manually enter data, which reduces productivity and often leads to errors. AI could basically alleviate this burden through an AI scribe, which can provide real-time notes. Routine tasks like updating medical records and scheduling appointments can all be automated. The workload on healthcare staff, errors, and costs can all be minimized, and healthcare providers can focus on patient care, which is most important. In the Global Equity Fund, United Health is investing heavily into AI to lower its costs. They're using AI to handle repetitive tasks and to answer basic questions in call centers to improve their customers' experience. So those are just a few of the ways in which AI is revolutionizing healthcare, and we expect this theme to play out over the next few years. Value-based care is another key theme in the healthcare sector. It's considered one of the biggest disruptions with significant runway for growth over multiple decades. In essence, it's a way of providing healthcare that focuses on making patients healthier while controlling costs at the same time. In the traditional fee-for-service payment model, doctors are reimbursed based on the quantity of services delivered. This tends to drive up healthcare costs. Value-based care, on the other hand, reimburses doctors based on the quality and efficiency of services they provide. So they're accountable and incentivized to help patients get better and stay healthy. Different healthcare providers then work together as a team to take care of a patient. This means the primary doctor, specialists, and hospital all communicate and plan the patient's care together. And instead of waiting until patients are very sick, regular checkups, screenings, and healthy habits are emphasized to prevent illnesses. Value-based care relies on technology platforms to help identify risk patients, manage care effectively, and steer patients towards the most cost-effective treatments. And by focusing on keeping people healthy and reducing hospitalizations and specialist visits, while increasing primary care visits, value-based care can reduce healthcare costs by between 15 to 20%. Many healthcare companies, like United Health and Elevance, are heavily investing in it, and we expect them to benefit from the uncapped profits from these services over the medium to long term. So in conclusion, the healthcare sector is an important part of our investment strategy. The constant need for healthcare makes it a stable and reliable area to invest in, even during tough economic times. With an aging population, more chronic diseases, and continuous innovation in AI, biologics, and value-based care, the sector has strong potential for long-term growth. Our investments in companies like ICON, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Boston Scientific, and United Health position us well to benefit from these trends and support sustainable growth. By managing risk and taking advantage of healthcare's constant demand, we aim to provide steady, above-average returns for our clients. Thank you for your time and trust in our investment approach.